back again with another review, and today we're going to talk about review Hudson Hawk, which stars Bruce Willis. And this is a paid request from James. I don't know if he wanted me to mention his last name, but James, thank you. And I'm sorry I'm a little bit late on this, but yeah, he wanted me to talk about and review Hudson Hawk. Now, for those interested, if you would like to request different things, whether that be movie reviews, commentaries, movie topics, etc., the link to my PayPal is down below in the description box, as well as my Twitter handle. And you can follow me on Twitter, and I post about different things movie related. Since I don't have community posts yet, that's kind of the best place to follow where I talk about movies. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about Hudson Hawk. And it was fun to rewatch again. This is a fun movie. And, I know that over the years, it's sort of become the butt of the joke. I know at this point, Bruce Willis, and even throughout the years, Bruce Willis has said that he's regretted making this film. I think on, like, when he was doing press for 12 Monkeys, because that film deals with, time traveling. I think when he was doing press for that, someone asked him if he could time travel, where would he go? And he said that he would go back in time and stop himself from making this movie. But Bruce Willis, I have to disagree, because didn't, like, right after this movie, you did that movie North, where you were in a bunny suit? And I haven't seen the film, but, I have heard about the movie. Is that the movie where Roger Ebert, he's like, I hate this movie? Is that the one, North? With Elijah Wood and Bruce Willis is in a bunny suit? So you did that right after this. I know that came out in 94. This came out in 93. But, the film is directed by Michael Lehman, the same guy that directed Heathers, which is a very good dark comedy. It's a classic. He also directed Airheads, which is a great comedy, underrated film. And he's directed some other stuff. And, the plot to this movie real quick, to sort of read off the back here a little bit. You know what? I'll cheat a little bit in regards to the describing the plot to you. But, Bruce Willis in the film, he's, Eddie the Hawk Hawkins. And he's the world's most famous cat burglar, and he was in prison for 10 years. Now, he's out of prison, and he wants to get straight, but the mob and the CIA have conspired to blackmail Eddie and his partner, played by Danny Aiello, into stealing these Da Vinci masterpieces. So, Hudson Hawk has to do this thing with the help of his partner. Meanwhile, you have, this nun in the film played by Andy McDowell. You have, our villains in the film played by Richard E. Grant. And again, they want these arts, these masterpieces that belong to Leonardo da Vinci. And they use Hudson Hawk to, get their plan out and get their stuff. And that's kind of the plot here. But yeah, like I said, this is a fun movie, and I don't get why this film, again, over the years has become sort of the butt of the joke that, this is the one film that, Bruce Willis, which I know that, apparently now, Bruce Willis, unfortunately, is dealing with some health issues. And, if that's the case, Bruce Willis, I do think that he should retire. As much as I like Bruce Willis, but, if it's that bad, I mean, and I know you got to pay bills and, do what you got to do. But I think you've made enough money in your career, that if you are dealing with, health issues, that you should just retire. Stop doing it like Steven Seagal and making 7, 8 direct-to-video movies a year. Because it seems like every week, there's a new movie coming out for Bruce Willis. Like with Steven Seagal, in his case, to me, it's just laziness. And, I don't think Steven Seagal is 70 years old. We're not going to see any comeback from him anytime soon. Bruce Willis, again, I understand that you have to, that you want to keep working. You want to pay the bills and do what you got to do. But, I feel a little bit bad for Bruce Willis. Steven Seagal, I don't feel bad for. He's done, like, a lot of, Seagal's early stuff is great. In the past 20 years, not so much. But, like I said, if Bruce Willis is dealing with, some health issues, he just, just take it easy. I mean, you're Bruce Willis. I think you've done enough in your career, to where you can take it easy if you are dealing, again, with health issues. But again, it seems like every week he's making a new movie, where he's barely in it. It's more about, this other, like, random lead character, and Bruce Willis is on the, kind of the side, to the side here, really not doing much. But, Bruce Willis, he's a lot of fun here in this movie as Hudson Hawk. And, the thing about this movie is that I know the way it was marketed was more of an action picture. But this film is really more of a comedy, with, some bits of action, throughout the movie. So some people have kind of speculated that's why, this film didn't really perform well. I mean, it made its money back, but, the way it was marketed, it was more as an action movie. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a comedy. There's some good action bits in it, but it's more like, fun. It's not like a Hard Boiled or, Last Man Standing, if you want to talk about Bruce Willis movies. I mean, yeah, I mean, I can say, there's other Bruce Willis films that I prefer more, like, whether that be Last Man Standing or The Fifth Element or Striking Distance, maybe I like a little bit more than this film. Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, I like way more. Die Hard The Last Boy Scout, to me, is a better movie. But, again, this is still a fun time. It's a fun comedy, that is definitely tongue-in-cheek. And, yeah, I just have a lot of fun with this movie. Again, Bruce Willis is fun. Danny Aiello is good support. Really, Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello, which apparently they were friends in real life, before this film. And I thought they had a really good chemistry, just a really fun banter. And I'm like, I want to see more of these guys. Like, I'm not saying that, they should have made a sequel back in the day, but I'm like, maybe if they did a separate film where you have Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello, because they had a really fun rapport here in this movie. Especially, where in the beginning of the film where they're breaking into this, like, museum, and they're singing that song. I forgot the name of the song, but is it Swinging Away? What is the name of that song? Swinging on a Star. There you go. Yeah, Swinging on a Star. That's a fun moment. Where him and Danny Aiello are singing the film. And I liked a little bit where, Hudson Hawk, he remembers, like, the, like, different songs and, how long they are. Oh, that's 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Or whatever. Just give an example here. But, the score was fun. I think Michael Kamen did the score. And again, Danny Aiello was good. You also have Richard E. Grant in the film. He's one of our villains here. James Coburn. Yeah, James Coburn from Eraser, which he did after, but he's been in many more stuff. James Coburn's a good villain here, and they're having fun. Especially with some of the other, like, side villains in the film that are named after candy bars, like Kit Kat and Snickers. And it's funny because David Caruso is Kit Kat in the film. Andrew Bernarski, he was in Batman Returns, and I want to say he was Leatherface and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Andrew Bernarski is Butterfingers. Oh God, what's that guy's name? He was in the Men of War with Dolph Lundgren. He was, I think he was Snickers, and the lady was Almond Joy. I'm trying to go off of memory here, but yeah, some of the supporting villains were named after candy bars, which I thought was fun. Again, you had Butterfinger, Almond Joy, Snickers, and I forgot the fourth one. I know there was four of them, but James Coburn, he leads this group of villains, and again, James Coburn is good support in the film. Sandra Bernhard, I thought she was fun. And then, by the time you get to the third act and stuff, there's a lot of fun stuff in there. But again, it's very tongue-in-cheek, the way the action is handled in the film, because it's kind of a parody. And, I thought, if you think about this year, you had Hot Shots Part 2. That's a parody film, that came out the same year. I also believe that then Loaded Weapon 1, that came out the same year as well. So you had, and maybe if I'm wrong, please correct me, but you had Loaded Weapon 1, Hot Shots Part 2, and this movie that came out the same year. And I know I keep rubbing my beard, but, yeah, Stephen E. D'Souza wrote the screenplay here. Bruce Willis, helped out with the story with Robert Kraft. And, this would kind of be the last time Bruce Willis, from what I understand, he would help with any screenplays or stories or what have you. Because again, Bruce Willis doesn't like this movie. He has regretted making this movie. He has said that before, and he's made jokes about it before. But I'm sorry, Bruce. To me, this is a fun movie. I thought you and Danny Aiello had fun chemistry, a fun banter. That I'm like, okay, just give me a movie with those two guys. Like a buddy cop movie. Rest in peace, Danny Aiello. I know he's passed away. I think he passed away last year or the year before, but great actor. He was also in Jacob's Ladder, which is a great movie. Andie MacDowell, she's fun. She's fun in the movie. Every time I think of her in this movie, I think of her, making the sounds of a dolphin. For people that have seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so, and fun lines. The humor, I didn't mind. At times it can be a little bit goofy, but Bruce Willis is having fun here. And again, maybe, I can say yes, there's other Bruce Willis films that I enjoy more, but I thought it was a fun little blend of action, adventure, and comedy, and not taking itself too seriously, and yeah, so Hudson Hawk, at the end of the day, it's a fun parody, fun time with, I'm trying to think of other words. You could say it's a parody, with some good fun bits of action, tongue-in-cheek humor. So yeah, I enjoy it. And so that's my review of Hudson Hawk. Thank you to James, if you're watching. Again, I apologize for being a little bit late on this one, but I just want to say thank you to James. For everybody watching, thank you. Watching my review of Hudson Hawk. Again, a fun movie. I can't say that enough. But thank you for watching, and have a good day.